In Maths Lesson 3, we showed you how to work out what happens to your debt when you make a payment at the end of every year. In this lesson, we're going to show you how to do this using a spreadsheet, and we're going to use the same example where you borrow £1,000 at an interest rate of 20% and make a £400 payment at the end of every year. To work out your debt at the end of a year, all you have to do is calculate the interest for the year, add that on to your debt at the start of the year, and then take away the payment. If you repeat this sum year after year, you can work out how long it takes to pay off your debt and how much interest you have to pay. And because your debt at the end of one year is the same as your debt at the start of the next year, the only thing you need to calculate is the interest for each year. Let's open up the spreadsheet you saved at the end of the last lesson. At the moment, the spreadsheet works out how your debt grows if you don't make any payments. But now we want to work out what happens when you make a payment at the end of every year. To do this, we're going to add in an extra input for the payment and change the formula which works out your debt at the end of the year. Before we can do this, we need to delete the output for your debt at the end of the year. You can do this by dragging the mouse from B5 to L5 and hitting the delete key. And we also need to delete all of the inputs and outputs from year 2 to year 10. Now we can add in the input for your payment. So first, add the label Payment End Year into B5 and then enter £400, which is the payment we're using for this example, into C5. Next, let's enter the formula for your debt at the end of the year. To do this, we need to add the interest for the year onto your debt at the start of the year and then take away the payment. So, if we select C6 and type in equals C2 plus C4 minus C5 and hit return, we get £800, which is your debt at the end of year 1. Now, let's move on to year 2. Your debt at the end of year 1 is the same as your debt at the start of year 2, so we need to set cell D2 equal to cell C6. The interest rate and your payment are also the same in year 2, so we can do the same for these cells. To work out the interest for year 2, we need to multiply your debt at the start of the year by the interest rate. We've already done this for year 1 in cell C4. So all we have to do is copy the formula across by clicking on the bottom right corner of C4 and dragging the mouse into D4, which gives us £160, the interest for year 2. And we can also do the same thing for your debt at the end of year 2, which gives us £560. Now, all of our inputs and outputs in year 2 begin with an equal sign. So, if we select all of the cells for the year and drag them along to column L, we can see what happens to your debt if you keep on making payments for 10 years. You can see that your debt goes negative at the end of year 4. This means that if you make a payment of £400 every year, it'll take 4 years to pay off your debt. If you want to work out the exact final payment you need to clear your debt, all you have to do is add the interest for year 4 onto your debt at the start of the year. This gives a payment of £336, and your debt at the end of year 4 changes from negative to 0. We can also use the spreadsheet to work out the total cost of paying off your debt and the total cost of the interest, but doing it this way is pretty messy. There's a much easier and smarter way to do all of this using a spreadsheet, and this is what we're going to look at in the next lesson.